Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to the Super Shulk Show. I mean, Quality Check. Thank you very much for tuning in. He's looking a bit puzzled. We had Robbie last week, who's one of the UK Shulks, and now our special guest this week, or one of our special guests, is the Super Shulk from New York, which is in the top right-hand corner, the United States of America. I'm going to chuck it over to SoulArts, who's just going to introduce himself a bit and tell me who he thinks is going to win Genesis. Over to you.
Hi, yeah. I'm SoulArts, also Sean, my name. I'm from New York. I'm living in the UK for the next year for graduate school. And I'm excited to be here, excited to be on the podcast. I've always wanted to do a podcast, so I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be let on here. And who I think is going to win Genesis, I'm going to be honest, I don't even know who's there. So I'm going to say Maze Beans because that's my go.
Real. Okay,
Amazing.
nice,
I mean, you've settled into
Then
the
you can say you beat the Genesis champion.
Exactly. There you go. Makes me look better.
That's
I
good.
was going to say, you've settled into Scotland for the people who don't know. What's it like up there, like being an American and things?
It's great, honestly. I mean, the people here are very nice in comparison. New York is full of creatures, not people. So, it's a lot a lot nicer here, that's for sure. And yeah, I mean, it's architecture is great. The buildings are like super pretty and everything. The environments are just gorgeous to look at compared to back home. And I'm just loving it, honestly. The weather is also surprisingly nicer in some ways, but also worse in other ways. It's definitely not as cold here during the winter. That's the big thing I've noticed.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I'm loving it here. So
No, thank you very much, Sean. And it's a pleasure to have you. And thank you for donating your time to come on here. I appreciate it. And then we've also
likewise.
got our regulars. We got Aaron Serenity. Who do you think is going to win Genesis?
Okay, I did say Tweak right before we started, but I actually don't think it's going to be Tweak. Have you seen his bracket? Oh my god. He has Goblin, who he has never beaten, into Onin, that guy sucks against Steve, into Yaura, he sucks against Samus, by the way, into Gluto, it's so over. It's so over. I think MKLo is going to win. That's the goat.
Oh,
He's going to make his comeback. It's so fucking time.
2019 is coming around again. Wait, take me back.
Just wait, just wait. I'll see you Sunday, Tom.
I mean,
And then we've got our other returning guest, Eid.
Hello. I am Eid. For those of you who don't know me, I'm some random two-tier ensign from Bournemouth who accidentally started a trend of 3v3 character crew battles recently. And I've ended up helping organize that somehow at Manchester Grand Chorus. In answer to your question, I think that Skyjo is going to win Genesis, and by the time this podcast goes out, everyone is going to know that he beat Mia in a 6-0 Grand Finals reset after losing to some Samus round 3 of winners, and I'm going to be so happy.
Do you reckon we go for the character loyalty?
That's right. That or Kurigub is going to beat Tweak, and it's so it's going to be.
I hope so.
That's right.
I mean, we all hope so.
That'd be so funny.
And then our last super special guest, but not least, is my good friend, the Jezo Show, ranked 6 on the latest UK PR. So please introduce yourself, Jez, and obviously, who do you think is going to win Genesis?
Sure, thank you. Yo, what's good, guys? It's Jez, otherwise known as Jezo. As Tom said, yes, I am 6 in the UK right now, and I think Bloom is going to win Genesis. I'm a firm believer of the UK right now, so let's see Bloom take it.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really, really difficult for Bloom. There were some pre-locals the other days on today. Was it yesterday and Wednesday?
Yeah,
Wednesday,
both days, yeah.
And it was rough for the United Kingdom. I think Maze Beans Curry scores and Bloom got 17th. One at the pre-local and the other at the pre-local. So
we all know that Mia's going to win it, and everyone and Mia's going to win it with Steve, and Twitter is going to be unbearable, and I'm going to turn off Twitter for 3 days after Genesis because it's going to be so unbearably annoying. Anyway,
Mia is not winning Genesis. Mark my words.
I kind of, for the culture, want a non-American to win Genesis.
See, I'm low-key with Aaron on this one. Leo has yet to lose a Genesis. That is all I'm saying.
Did he lose one?
Other than the Mars one?
Really? Yeah. The Mars.
He has won
Lost on
all of
Mars.
them.
Actually, I
Mm.
forgot about that. That is very true.
But
So
that's
I
fine
take
because
back
it's
what I
Mars
said.
and that's wrong.
I'm going
So.
back to Maze Beans.
Yeah,
Fuck.
motivated.
Dude,
I-
I almost fucking had him. I almost had him.
I almost
think-
had you, man. You didn't mention that. I would have been right with you.
Next time.
I think it's a sneaky pick, Yaura. It is Yaura's time to win something.
Nah, he's
On the
running into
big
shoot
stage.
on. It's over.
Do you know what? Those games have been really, really close. It was 3-2 in Samus Olimar, and I'll be kid you not, Shooton was looking a bit shook. They could have called him Shookton. I mean, he was getting kind of minced. I mean, he did reverse 3-0 with Olimar, but to go down 2 games, that's yeah, he was looking a bit ropey.
Let's see Yaura's instant like Siski's did. That worked really well for him when he tried it.
Yeah,
Hey,
man, for sure.
He went Cloud one time, and
He's giving it a go.
he didn't last long. He's doing
No.
better with Samus. But you know, like lots of people are going out of region and even out of country, for Genesis, and it's something that obviously as players, we all do from time to time, whether you're going to a big regional or a major, either in your country or outside your country. And I know we talked a lot about locals last week, but I really wanted to talk about going out of region because that's sort of like a really big different skill than going to your local, isn't it? The locals you play the same people day in, day out. You get to know them not as people, but not only as people, but also you get to know their habits in game as well, and you get to know and develop matchups. But my question for you guys, and to start this off, is what do you think going out of region? What skills do you think you need, and how do you prepare for it? Really, how do you guys? So I'm going to open the floor, and yeah, we'll go for that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, for me, I think I'm definitely a player that like thrives in like a local scene. I feel like after a certain amount of sets, I just like don't lose anymore against a lot of people.
Yeah.
But whereas you kind of go out of region and like I still do okay. And like last year, towards the end I was doing a lot better than I was. But like it used to be sort of like an inside joke in the South where it's like the further away from Southampton I go, the worse I do. So like I went like 1-2 at regen, but then I'm like in Portsmouth and I'm like doing top 8
Farming them
and
up.
things like that. Yeah, like
Bringing them up.
so you just need to be able to adapt to new playstyles like quick. That's like I think the main skill of going out of region.
I don't envy people that go internationally, and particularly like the Japanese players who play in America and do a jet lag. That shit looks awful. Or like Gluto, like rolling out of bed for him at 4 a.m. to go and play for his life against like
Jesus.
MK Leo at his peak or something. But like for like just, I mean, for me, genuinely, like traveling completely wipes me the hell out. So I don't know how people have the stamina for that. And for those of you in this call, i.e., everybody who does better than me at regionals, how do you like? I'm curious to hear, particularly like Jez, since you've obviously done very well out of region before,
Sure.
you've got some
Thank
amazing
you, yes.
results. How do you kind of deal with that? Because I need to know.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of it, as you say, it's quite exhausting. It's very tiring. So you just have to plan for that, right? Just make sure you take care of yourself, sleep well, eat well. These past couple of years, I've really just been like trying to like, just drown myself in well, yeah, not 10 out of the day, just the day before, but like I just drown myself in Smash knowledge and just trying to keep myself in the good headspace and go from there. Really, yeah.
So you tell me that like staying up until 3 a.m. doing karaoke,
It's not it. No.
not okay. I think I found where I might be going wrong.
It's interesting because obviously SoulArts, you've come from America, and then you've come to a completely different scene. A lot of the matchups might be like familiar, but it's probably a completely different play style over here. Like, what's your experiences coming from like New York, which has like, you're talking about the Buzz, Zomba is probably around there.
I don't know about the Buzz, man. He's
No,
not.
he's not at
He's
the
a liar.
locals. He's not at the locals.
He's not New York, bro. Everyone thinks he's New York. He's not.
Oh, but he's the king
Fun
of the
fact:
court.
he's New Jersey.
He's New
the
Jersey.
false king of New York.
That whole thing's a sham.
Where's I've
It
got
was,
to
it
ask.
was purely Coney who just made it up one time and
I'm
everyone
so
went along with it.
Well, he used to live in New York for the longest time. It wasn't until like around Ultimate's release I think he moved. But
Oh, okay.
I have a question.
Yeah. So what's up?
Where's New Jersey?
Like left of New York, if you're looking at a map.
It's where?
That's like
Like
in the
left, it's like
tri-state
left of
thing,
New
right?
York.
So
Like
he
West.
West.
Think New
How
Jersey is the
far
Wales
west?
of New York.
Okay.
like southwest kind of. Like if you're looking at a map, it's gonna be like left of New York.
And they have their own locals.
Yeah. I mean, Tweak's from New Jersey.
It's a different state.
Look, we clarified my lack of American. There's probably people who have never been to America listening. So, like, I feel like I
You might
should
have looked at a
not be
map
on trial.
before.
No, I would say like really dumb things about Europe if the script was flipped right now. So you have a pass, man. I
Yeah,
don't
thank
blame
you,
you.
Sean. Thank you. You know, these bozos, they'll have me for dinner anytime they can get. But obviously, like you still got players like Zomba and John Numbers. I would imagine he's
Yep.
with New York. Melly, the Richter.
Oh yeah, that's a deep cut right there. I'm surprised you know who that is.
God, I'm a
Carflow.
Belmont
Right.
mate.
Is
So,
Carflow New
yeah.
York?
I know.
Yeah, that's a deeper cut. I feel like. Carflow.
Carflow is so sick, bro. Oh, I love watching Carflow.
But yeah, I mean, in general, like I've noticed like play styles are pretty different here. I mean, the character pool is very different here, especially in Scotland, where everyone's just like a low tier hero for some reason. That's like half of our
Apart
PR.
from their best player.
Like when apart from Maze Beans, of course, and I believe that's it, honestly.
Octave,
And it's weird because like when I found out that this region did not have a good Palutena, that was like red flag number one for me, right? There's no
Yeah.
Palutenas. I haven't played a Palu in months, and that's like how? That's like concerning to me. But I think the biggest difference for sure is just more of an emphasis on like neutral, less like advantage state. I think players here are very reluctant to push advantage versus back home where like, you know, I come from Long Island. We have all of these like thanks for playing the game characters like Luigi, Steve, Kazuya. And playing in a region filled with those characters, like it's forced people who don't play those characters to almost like keep up. Like Lucina, Mr. E, Lucina, PK Chris Ness, like their advantage state has, you know, had to compensate for their lack of like 0 to deaths and everything. So they're able to kill you off like one hit with these characters, even though like you wouldn't really expect it. Whereas here it's more people are very slow. They force you to be way more patient and neutral. They're not like balls to the wall, just like going after you, trying to take your stock at 20. And even just like in the UK as a whole, not even just Scotland, I feel even Europe. I mean, I played this DK in France at UFA when I went, and he was like not like edge guarding me or like ledge trapping me, like whereas like most DKs like back home would, and I'm just like sitting here like, dude, you play. Why am I not getting edge guarded? Like, I get I play Shulk, so like it could be a little intimidating to edge guard him, but you gotta like treat him like Chrom. You can still trade with air slash, whereas you trade with Chrom up B, hit him from above. Like he's not, even if he has jump bar, he's not like unstoppable, right? It just doesn't. I don't feel like I'm being pressured in the same way. Whereas if I'm playing back home, I feel like a lot of the common mistakes I make in disadvantage, I would have died 5 times over by now. But here, I just like get good with that.
Surely
I
not.
think what you say about pressure there is spot on for the UK. I think generally we lack a lot of pressure that you see in America, especially from like aggression and just knowing that off of one hit you could potentially lose a stock. That in itself is a lot of pressure.
I will say, like having that lack of pressure has really it's helped me a little bit become more of like a patient player. Like I'm forced to play all these like super slow matchups where I have to like hit the brakes a little bit and just slow it down. Like I think Kirby, like playing Kerbo a lot is a great example where it's I can't
His
just
fundamentals
like
are so good.
So
if
what
I
you're
run
saying,
at him, I'm dead. Like
what you're
that's
saying is that Americans are all mashers.
basically yeah.
I get it. Okay, I get it.
I mean,
I get the picture.
Ultimate is kind of like a mashy game, right? You like a lot of the characters are on, especially on the upper echelons, like your Lucinas, your Palus, your Wolves. They got like really big disjoints. They're safe and they can just follow up. So like if your defense isn't really good, you can just get overwhelmed really quickly and
by fast options and stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like if you're trying to play like a Luigi and they're just mashing on you, it's like, what can you really do? Like Nair's -2, back air's like -8 and disjointed, and then because you don't want to sit still because like, oh, you want to get grabbed and then a lot of people will just sort of go for that. So yeah, it's interesting like how our metas develop. We'll come back to the regional tips later. I think we just sort of like we've sort of crossed,
Oh, yeah.
which is fine, but like that's
There's a lot
absolutely
of regions to cover here.
exactly exactly. It's just like it's just really interesting to hear that because a lot of our exposure is what we see on like VG Bootcamp. You tune into
Right.
American major number 703 that year, and that's what you see. But we never experience it where obviously UK is an island and we just don't get out. It's not easy to.
Yeah.
So yeah,
No, for
like um, so yeah, it's really really good that you've got that sort of experience. And what do you think? Is there any sort of difference between like the mid levels and the high levels, or like the UK players or the top? Because obviously you've got Maze Beans who's like at the top of the UK, and then you've got your the Kerbos at the top, and then you've got your Octaves who are like the higher players. What in your experience is the difference, if any, between like high, top, mid level players compared to everywhere else?
Yeah, I mean, I think the top level players here are very like similar quality to back home for sure. Maybe look a little bit worse just because I'm from New York and we have like our top players are like Zamba, Mr.
Yeah,
E,
like
like
they
these
are
like
like
world class
top.
players. So
Yeah.
Top players.
Yeah.
there's definitely a little bit of a skew in comparison, but generally though, like I play Maze Beans, I definitely like or like Kerbo, for example, like the very top echelon of Scotland. I feel very similar comparison between him and like a lot of like RPR back home, right?
Okay.
Whereas, like, I think I think especially in Scotland, it's pretty noticeable. Once you get like past like number like 4 or 5 on the PR, there's like a decent drop off, and I think it's a lot like worse than back home in terms of like how like big the gap is, right? Because like even though like our top players are like Quid, Mr. E, Zamba, like they'll still lose to like top 15 on our PR, even like unranked players. Like
Oh,
I'm unranked most
wow.
seasons. I've sets on a couple of them. And
that's good to hear.
it's yeah,
Is
thank
that
you.
just
Yeah,
from
it's really
playing the same people so much, I guess?
yeah, I mean, it's I think the mid level and like the low high level is definitely like there's a drop off in quality for sure. Like I don't feel as threatened as I do back home, I would say. And that's no shade to them. I mean, that's just like how the
No,
region like plays out and everything. Just my honest thoughts here.
yeah.
But it really is interesting to see, and I think a part of it for sure is like Scotland as a region in particular, because I know London is very like grind heavy scene, so I'm sure the gap like as big, I'd imagine. But like here, everyone is very like spread out. Like there's like players from Edinburgh and then Glasgow and then Dundee and so on and so forth. And Kerbo's like in Aberdeen, I think, like all the way up north. Um,
Gosh.
so
Right.
you don't see like grind culture here because everyone's so spread out.
Mm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's just sort of worth noting that obviously the UK has only got like 67 million people in, and like the US is like 330. So the
Yeah,
US is like 5 times bigger than like Scotland is probably the equivalent of like just the New York scene as a
yeah, for
representative. Like that's one whole country is one state in America. There's more people in New
Oh,
York than Scotland. That's crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just like
I
a
don't
very
believe
dense area
that.
where Scotland has like I feel like Scotland's got a lot of field
Mm.
at the
Yeah,
top.
trains in
True,
the UK
yeah.
cost 35 quid to go half a mile, so it's pretty rough.
also just
I
like tri-state in general for Smash, like not even
Yeah.
just New York. There's a lot of
The whole
like
northeast is so dense for Smash.
yeah,
Like,
there's a lot of like cross-state interaction. Like we get like random Jersey players showing up to like our New York locals and vice versa.
Fair
Even like
enough.
Connecticut comes down a lot. Like you guys know Ling, the Peach player.
we
Yeah.
did each
He's
one,
from
yeah.
Connecticut.
yeah.
He comes down to New York locals a lot, and he brings like some of the CTPR with him. So there's like a lot of like cross-region interaction just within tri-state alone.
I
So
did
Yeah.
I did randomly watch a video. I can't remember. I think it was turned down for Walt. I think he did a video on was it the South Jersey and North Jersey?
yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
it was,
yeah,
yeah. And then he was like, "Oh, Tweak is in like the north of Jersey," and then what's his face? The Wolf Jackal is in the bottom. And then
yeah,
they were like,
Also
"There's
known as the
some
South.
massive the South, and there was some massive rivalry." But it sort of blows my mind that you could just have one state with just like a random PR player in, and it's just like there's the whole counties in England that have got like nothing. Like there's just nothing.
Don't make me have the Southwest England run again.
Yeah, Southwest is
We're
unlucky.
at 5 people.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean, like what's the? I saw you went to the regional that happened, Dead Zone, the one up in Warwick. So what was that like compared to like a US like regional? I don't know because you get
It probably just
Yeah.
felt like a local, right?
Yeah.
If the New York ones are like 50 people or something.
Yeah, I mean, it was 64 people. I think it capped. I'm pretty sure.
It capped, yeah.
Definitely felt like New York, like big local or like a regional, like a small regional. Felt like to me, it definitely gave regional vibes. I mean, partly biased because I traveled all the way out there. I mean, it took like 5 hours to ride, and I stayed in a hotel for a night and everything.
Yeah.
But it was cool because I think the London scene and like the England scene, like that area of England in general, really reminds me a little bit more of back home because you see people like traveling a decent amount. Like it's in the Midlands, so you get people from like a lot of places. Honestly, there are people I was like shocked who showed up. Like Rob was there. I mean, he's kind of the reason I went low key, but he's from London. I was like 2 hours out, I think. His area he's telling me. So it was cool getting to see people like travel and stuff and like make it out there. I actually invited Maze Beans to come along with me, but he's at Genesis currently. It's kind of a little too close for him in terms of flights.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So I suppose to like bring it back to what we were originally talking about, when you were traveling to Dead Zone, no one else here went, did they? No,
I couldn't go.
No.
Like, what did you do to like prepare? Like, what did you do? Did you look at your bracket, or you just like, do you just wing it?
Yeah, I mean, I think with regionals, you get the benefit of brackets usually come out a couple of days prior, so you get to prepare a little bit. I wasn't like going super hard on it, but I was like studying Darkstalker a little bit because he was my projected.
Nice.
Vec decided to go on the run of his life, so kind of put a pin in that plan.
My guy.
So yeah, I was looking at Darkstalker a little bit, and just trying to like kind of what Jez said before, just like taking care of yourself. And I was making sure I was going to gym every day that week, and just really being on top of like my sleep schedule.
You can really press those buttons.
Yeah, 100%.
Stronger thumbs.
And also just like the change in environment. I mean, if you're not like if you're not ready to just go to bed, and it's harder to sleep in hotels. I feel like because the change in environment, you're not familiar with being there.
Sometimes,
so.
Yeah.
I think having that like consistency in your sleep schedule is very important leading up to tournaments. I mean, in general, I mean, I do. I'm here for performance psychology. That's like my whole like major and everything that I'm doing here.
Nice.
We talk a little bit about this concept called oscillation, which essentially is like the usage, the expenditure, and rejuvenation of energy. Like going to the gym is a great example. Like we use energy and then recover. If you do like HIIT, like high intensity interval training, it's a great way to practice that like oscillation aspects of your body and get yourself used to like expending energy and then recovering energy like pretty like frequently, and it really helps like mental stamina and stuff like that. So it's a lot of it is like what Jez said, just taking care of yourself.
So in terms of preparing for Darkstalker, did you try to seek out Terry players to fight against them?
So unfortunately, given my student accommodation and the way the Wi-Fi works here, I cannot play online. We have no
rough.
players.
So what I did a lot over these past couple of years was start playing against CPUs, level 9 CPUs, which I know sounds strange. I don't know if you've ever tried
Don't tell me you made
I
6
do that
UKPR playing against fucking CPUs.
playing
I'm
against
sat
CPUs.
here messaging every high level player. Oh, can I have friendlies, please? And you're, I'm so fucking angry.
Just
practicing the 0 to death on them, just like.
Well, I mean, not just that, but like the day before the event, I'll see what characters I got coming up, and I'll just play against them, play against CPUs of those characters, because it's like just to get a feel for what their movement, what they're gonna play a little bit like, just kind of get used to it before you then go into tournament doing it.
How does that work with characters like? Sorry, I've interrupted you horribly, but I'm angry. How does this work with characters? How does this work with characters who are like, for example, like Shulk, let's say, to use an example.
Yeah, Shulk doesn't work so much.
Yeah, or like I guess Steve, although the Steve AI plays like your average Steve player, but
at the very least.
Yeah.
Sorry, you go.
I was saying just like those more weirdo characters.
Yeah. So at the very
Yeah.
least, you kind of you still get used to their weight and comboing them,
That's true.
and what kind of waffle ops you might go for. So
I
Yeah.
I do have the training mode mod pack, so I was using that a little bit.
Oh, it's
with,
so
like,
good.
oh sure, yeah.
with the input recording feature and just labbing like jab power dunk on shield and stuff. I also play like a little bit of Terry myself, so I have like a decent
Oh,
familiarity
nice,
with the character.
yeah.
Just in terms of like Darkstalker specifically.
Right.
That's kind of
Yeah,
what I
you'll
was
be
doing.
seeing a lot of jab power dunk when you fight
Yeah, dude,
Darkstalker.
I watched that guy play, and I honestly have no clue what he's doing at the time. Like no shade to him at all. I just like he's so fast. Like I just don't. It's hard to keep
Yeah.
up, honestly. Like just even watching him play, I'm just
Yeah. He's one of those players that's like goes to like try and overwhelm you.
Yeah, for
I mean
sure.
Terry kind of matches that playstyle anyway, but yeah, when you watch it on stream or something, you're literally like, what is he doing? But then it just works, and you're like, okay.
Darkstalker is to Terry what T is to Kazuya. Where like
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
and people like it looks like and people say it's just like mindless mashing, but like there is a strategy there. It's just that the strategy is make the other player go oh fuck, and then that causes them to mess
panic.
up and
It's pressure.
or it's pressure, and also it's just
it's
you're
pressure.
covering everything because you're playing a character who can cover everything. You're not playing K rule. You're playing a character with like obscenely good frame data. So why not throw out? It's like why Steve threw out 6 back airs in a row because like. What's the
not?
downside? It's optimal. Like
Yeah.
it might look stupid, but it's the correct way to do it. So I think that's definitely like that seems to be the way Darkstalker plays.
And it's difficult to kind of find players of characters, especially in the UK, because you've sort of mostly got to rely on EUs. Because a lot of characters in the UK usually only have like one character specialist. Like if we're thinking about like Terry, you've got Darkstalker, who's like the top, and then you've obviously got Pizza Time, who's in the north. But if they're unavailable to play, like where do you go from there? It's like it's difficult because not only do you then have to go to outside sources. If you're like in EU All Stars, you might get lucky, but if you're not in that, you're just like, I'll maybe help EU boot camp and hopefully you know a Terry player, but that it's not going to be the same. And then obviously it's just different play styles because Darkstalker has like a unique play style, and then you're not going to be able to find somebody to replicate that, and that's what makes a lot of this so hard. It's just and even harder if you've got a character that literally nobody plays. Like if you're trying to prepare for scores, for example, and you're like, I'll just try and get some UK Toon Link experience, and you look at the UK Toon Links, and it's just like there's nobody. It's just like, I guess my next best option is somebody in the EU, and then you
Level
look
9
at
CPU.
level 9 CPU, literally.
Level 9
Like,
CPU.
So Jez, is that the official position of the Quality Check podcast that if you want to prepare for scores, you're better off asking an AI than the next best 2-link player? I'm just making
Sounds
that
good to
clear.
me.
I mean,
it's
sorry,
just
Oasis.
getting comfortable with it.
Put it this way: can you name the next best Toon Link player?
Oasis.
I mean,
Probably.
yeah. They play anymore? I think they play HDR now.
Serenity.
Serenity.
So true. No, Oasis still plays. Yeah, he's just gone to Bristol. He hasn't died.
I thought they quit play HDR, but
No.
Again,
Either way.
like there's a massive drop off between somebody of Scores' caliber.
Yeah, of course.
But the next best player you're sort of thinking of is like Airly from Iceland, or if you're lucky, you might be able to get Flo's Toon Link, but good luck going up to Flo and be like, "Can I practice against your Toon Link, please, sir?"
I mean, I think an option is joining like character chords if those exist.
It's just full of
That's true,
Americans, though. It's just Americans.
That is like one of the big problems. Like
The delay's bad, but it's something, right? Like
it's
an
yeah.
option.
Just to build up some knowledge, right?
There's also like I don't know if like other characters do this or Shulk players are just kind of weird. There's like a UK Shulk chord.
We have an EU instant one. Yeah.
I know there's a UK Snake Discord. I'm pretty sure. 'Cause I remember I beat Hadders, and Hadders like added boat in it and was like, How do you beat Diddy Kong or something?
Wow.
Yeah, no, we have one for instant across the whole of the EU, and I know that there are other ones that I think there's a Puff one because I
There's a
think
Jigglypuff like
Electric.
Twitter group chat.
Yeah, we had a
Yeah.
Twitter group chat, but because there's more than
Sounds
4 of
very
us, like the
exclusive.
Puff players, we actually just made a whole Discord because there's not just 4 of
Yeah.
us.
No, we don't have a Diddy Kong one. I can't.
You should.
confirm.
Maybe you'll stop
Or we
losing
do
to
and they hate
Snake.
me. Who knows? Who knows?
So he
We could have
says.
one.
Like even if you
Right.
can't get like squads directly play with you, maybe just be like, can you point me towards anyone? And that's how you find out that like this Discord exists, I guess. And then
Or you
Yeah.
do what I do, and like let's say you wanted some Meta Knight experience, and then you ask the best Meta Knight player in the UK for friendlies, and he goes, no, he's sorry, I want the Meta Knight player to win. Yeah, fuck you, Cloaked. Fuck you.
yo,
Cloaked.
you know who did that to
Oh,
me,
yeah.
bro? You know who did that to me at LMBM? Sonic. He fucking did that shit.
Sonic.
Really?
I had to
Damn.
play this Sonic from Massachusetts Craftus at LMBM, and
That's
I just
pretty
saw
funny.
Sonic. I even like DM'd on him on Discord the night before. I'm like, can we get games? And he's like, no. It was like, Craftus is my friend. And just walked away.
Oh,
I was
funny.
like,
no way.
I was like,
How-
Sonic
how
plays.
right.
Meanwhile,
I
and
low-key
this,
respect it. Like, low-key.
so right,
If
all,
it's
all
your
of this,
friend.
no, all of this,
It
all of
depends.
this solidarity. Meanwhile, Vec shared a hotel room with Swistak, who was my losers
Oh,
round
yeah.
1 at Regen, and grinded with him all night. Fuck
Oh,
you, Vec. Everyone hates me. I beat him anyway. So, but either
Dude,
way,
one
yeah.
thing that's
Real.
bad funny, bro, is I was playing with Quid, like out of pool, like with him in friendlies, because he had to play Elijah Man, the Canadian Shulk.
Oh,
Yeah.
And Elijah
Why
Man
do-
caught wind of it. And he's like messaging me. He's like, you betrayed me.
It's not that deep.
He's like, don't think you're a superhero, or whatever. He's doing his like Elijah Man like troll bullshit or whatever. He's just trolling the shit out of me now because of it. He won't let it go. It's so stupid, man. I'm like, dude, Quid would have beat you anyway, bro. Like,
Yeah, it's Quid, like, pipe down. Chill. That's pretty good.
I've forgotten what our original point was.
Level 9
yeah.
CPUs. I
Level
play
9.
against a lot of level 9 CPUs. And you know one CPU that's so bad? They're so bad! The AI is so bad! And it frustrates me. It's the Belmont CPU. I'm
Oh,
trying to
yeah.
play against Belmont
That's
CPUs
just a
so I can
character
beat
thing.
Tom. And then, like, every Belmont CPU just doesn't know the tether recovery exists. So they just
Oh,
die at any
yeah.
percent.
Yeah, AI are really bad at recovering.
I
that is
literally,
one
like,
thing.
JV
Yeah.
the like, Belmont CPUs constantly because they just don't.
You're
They
so
don't
good,
recover.
Aaron. Oh
They're
my
so
God,
bad.
you're so
No,
good.
it's not even that. It just pisses me off. I want to play it. Whatever, bro.
Like, honestly, no. Do you know what level 9 CPU that's really fucked up is the Little Mac one is weirdly good. Like
Oh, really?
it's like weirdly good. I don't know why. Just anyway,
look,
Put
I just
advice into it.
remember.
my real bracket demon is the Little Mac CPU.
Yeah.
I remember after Onan won Smash Con the year he did, like during the interview, he was just like, "Yeah, I should play Elite Smash all day." I feel like this is like Jezo's equivalent to that.
Yeah, I just play bots all day.
Yeah, a little bit.
Go in the interview,
Oh.
be like, "Yeah, I just play level 9 CPUs all day."
I would.
I'd
love-
say level
Right.
9 CPUs are way better than Elite Smash.
Oh,
yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's a take. That is a
Oh,
take.
no,
That is a take.
I agree because I was actually speaking to Tom about this last week because we were VOD reviewing something and I was looking at better ways to improve juggling because obviously in that's like a good advantage state, and I kind of like realized like I should just play CPUs because they are like they have the timing for air dodges when you go near them down perfectly, so you can really kind of practice frame trapping and stuff. So like there is definitely stuff that you can use the AI to but yeah, nothing to do with tech chases or recovery because they will just die.
I just generally feel like they're very good for like raw fundamentals
Yeah.
because they don't play like people, so you're not already like conditioned by thinking, oh, they're gonna try and do this, or most characters do this, like most players do this, but you can just play it completely raw and get them fundies.
I remember talking to
Get them fundies.
Get
my
them
friend
fundies.
Mike. My friend Mikey, who plays like Street Fighter, and he told me the rule of 3 when you're trying to implement something new. It's do it in training mode, do it against computers, try in a real match. I kind of like that. I think for like when you're trying out concepts like that, I think that's a pretty good like structure. And when you are trying to implement new concepts, like I think that's where CPUs are great. Like
Yeah.
you got to react to hit confirms and stuff, right? So
Yeah.
It's how I picked up my current main in the first place. Was I started off just like messing around the training room, then progressed to just like, can I beat every level 9 CPU with it and then started playing in the brackets. So I think definitely like
Mm.
for like weird stuff you've labbed, it probably makes the same kind of really the same thing.
100%, yeah.
And I think a lot of people sort of are very scared to find opportunities to practice tech that they've practiced, because a lot of people, when I play friendlies with them, when I play friendlies with somebody, I'm not just like aiming to win. I'm just trying to practice something that I am trying to implement. So I'll fish for something. Like I was trying to practice the other day ledge trapping without holy water. You know, holy water is
Yeah.
just what you do
Nice.
every day, isn't it? And then one day I was like, well, why don't I just not? And then my opponent was really frustrated. He was like, why don't you just use holy water? I was like, I'm
Yeah.
not aiming to win. I'm aiming to get better with ledge trapping without holy water, because then that might bleed through across
Definitely.
my other characters. So it's like using friendlies not as something to win, but practicing a skill or a concept that you want to implement is the way to go. Because I don't care if I lose a friendly against somebody as long as I win in real bracket. Because like friendlies are your training rooms, like it's your penalty shootouts, right? You know, if you're playing football, you're on the pitch, you're practicing penalties. That's your practicing against friendlies, and then hopefully when it comes time in bracket and you're trying to hit that, then you do because you've spent the time. So yeah, it's definitely trying to make it a lot more natural and things. So yeah.
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 100%,
I
yeah.
generally think it's good as well. Like in that case, you're always doing holy water, so it's like what do you do when you're up against an opponent that knows how to deal with it, right? So
Oh,
you're building for that case as
Unplug.
well. well, maybe
I'll let you know if I encounter an opponent that will know. You know, unless they just
But
hover
you-
all over the top of it, then I'm
like Rob does.
like Rob
But you know,
does.
but you know what I mean, though. It's
Yeah, I know
like,
what you mean, yeah.
yeah, that
Because
general thing. If
I've got a ledge trap with Alf because you know that's an important part
yeah,
of any characters really. So it's coming up with concepts that I can, you know, apply to other characters as well. So yeah,
exactly, yeah,
it's definitely worth it, and it's definitely worth not losing in purpose on friendlies. But if the choice was, let's say I'm practicing juggling, like Ede says, it's like if I've got a grabbers Incineroar, not toss them off stage, I'll toss them upwards. Because then I've got more opportunities to practice juggling, practice rain trapping. Yes,
yeah,
back throw is optimal to get them off stage and ledge trap, but actually, if I'm practicing juggling, up throw will give me that more, and or you know, using up smash more
yeah,
out because if it, you know, if I can practice those juggles, then I can get like 50, you know, like 30 or 40% off juggles as Incineroar, and then my frame traps come along, I frame trap somebody and get that extra 8%, and it all adds up over the course of a game. So, yeah, it's important to know and look at your bracket and think about the opponents that you are going to play. I mean, when I look at brackets out of region, I look at the people who I'm either might struggle against personally, or I think I might be or might lose to, and then have a look at those and then VOD review them or learn things about the matchup, because a lot of people get quite nervous when they go out of region because it's like, well, I've never faced an ice climbers before, and then you're like, what do I do? And I think nerves can be quite good, because if you know what you're nervous about, you know what to prepare for, right? Because you'll generally look at the path and you'll
yeah,
click the what's it called, the auto seeding, and it'll be like, right, I'm supposed to beat this person. I know that person I can beat because I've beaten them before. Okay, I've got to play somebody I'm not too familiar with this matchup. I've now got X amount of days to make sure I'm prepared for that matchup. And that's a good way that I find to then prepare, because you can VOD review, you can ask people for games, you can think about ideas in the matchup. Um, has anybody here, because I've done this, but I wonder if anybody else has VOD reviewed people who they are going to play.
Yeah.
Anybody done
Yeah.
that?
I
yeah.
did that.
think
I
I've
did
done
that
it a
with
couple of times.
yeah, I did that with Revenger, but I had a Battleborn again. So for Yoshi player from from Wales, who's much better than me, but I just grinded the shit out of that matchup and looked up the way that she played, and it did help a lot. And I did end up winning that set. It was an upset, so like, yeah, I think that definitely does help.
Nice.
And the same with when I did play against Swistack against Regen, watched much of his stuff he'd done before. Very different playstyle to Sheik's I played before. That helped. I then also done it again. It's not worked, so maybe it's not a perfect science, but definitely, yeah, it definitely.
It helps,
I think it definitely
like,
helps.
for sure. Like, especially when it's like an uphill battle, like you're the underdog going
Which
into
I
it.
usually am for me
Yeah.
personally,
Yeah,
because I'm obviously
that's
not
fair.
that great, and I'm
Whereas,
usually
like,
seeded 1-2 at a big event, so it's like, yeah.
yeah, whereas you might get like the opponent might just be like, oh, that's my round one. They might look up your character, but they're not really like looking up your gameplay. So it's just like really nice to see it. Like the Revenger set, for example. I don't know. She might have VOD reviewed you. I don't actually know. But like someone might not have VOD reviewed you. You grind it out. It's an uphill battle, but like you can win just off of like information diff almost. Like it doesn't always
Yeah.
work, but sometimes it clutches out sets for you. So
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, most.
it's
Sorry.
giving yourself the best opportunity to win because you want to make those upsets. So the way you do that, I mean, Sean,
For
if you
sure.
ever sort of looked, or Jez, have you two ever looked at an opponent you've got upcoming and you were a bit nervous about and VOD reviewed and that's worked out for you?
Yeah,
Sean?
I mean, for sure. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I mentioned reviewing Darkstalker a little bit before I went down to Dead Zone. Like I said, unfortunately, I didn't get to play him, but
Yeah.
there's that. And I also try to like review like specifically the matchup and like what they know, what they don't know about it. So I when I was reviewing Darkstalker, I hit up Robbie and I'm like, hey, like, do you have like any like particularly good sets against him you think I should check out? And he sent me a couple, and that was yeah. I mean, I'm not just trying to review Darkstalker versus like Scars, for example. It's like
yeah,
mostly
it's not as
useful.
useful as it. Like there's still
Sure.
some things you can gain, but like you really want to be seeing him against Shulk and how he plays around Shulk's like
Exactly. Yeah.
stuff specifically.
And was
Yeah.
there anything? Sorry, I was going to say, was there anything that you specifically looked at? Obviously, because VODs are like 8 minutes long. Was it just neutral advantage and disadvantage options? What was it sort of that you were really trying to look at and sort of like tease out to make yourself have the best chance?
I usually like to look at how he tries to hit his win condition. Like, what is his win condition at neutral? What's his win condition advantage? How is he getting back to stage? Is he good? Does he have any like habits and disadvantage?
Mm,
Stuff like that. I mean, Shulk is a very like unique character and how you have to play against him. So I'm looking at like how he's weaseling his way in against Robbie. And like,
Yeah.
is it actually him doing well, or is it Robbie making a mistake? There's an important like distinction between that as well, right?
yeah,
I
that.
have a also, yeah.
Oh, go for it.
I'll say I have a question as the voice of the two tours in this podcast. Because for me, when I look at a big event, let's say Regen last year, I was seeded 1-2, so I only had to prepare for 3-4 sets at most. I know I'm not going to get further than that. That's just the reality of it. How the fuck, if you're seeded to make it to third place in a 64-person bracket, so many things, because like even in my like 4-set run, that's what, like 12 14 different possible outcomes because of the way that double elimination brackets work. How the hell do you prepare for that, or do you just have to prepare for what's seeded and just know that, or look at prioritize what's the most likely upset to happen? Because like, yeah, when let's for example, you saw Dead Zone, you were seeded fourth, something like that. Yeah, and so like, yeah, you obviously, there's so many, and things did happen, so like you had to kind of
Yeah,
like
I
cover
mean,
it. Yeah, how do you not get overwhelmed by the possibilities of what might happen on a projected bracket?
I mean, I just truthfully, I don't think about it too much. I know if I'm playing someone seated above me, which usually is who I am studying for, uh, odds are they'll make it to where they're at. But I I don't like to neglect possibilities, but I also don't like to overlook into them. I think I just have enough confidence in my play where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try my best and make it to him. Because my goal isn't necessarily to make it to Darkstalker. My goal isn't even to win the event. My goal is to just do how I do and just try to learn something, just walk away from it.
For
Because
sure.
at the end of the day, like I believe a lot of people in the scene and just like competition in general place too much emphasis on results and like what they want to achieve.
Mm,
And for me, going into tournaments, I mean, it's like we were talking about like deliberately practicing things before. That's how I look at tournaments. Is just practice. Tournaments are no different than practice sessions with like, no venture down the street from me or something, right? It's just I'm just looking to get better at the end of the day. That's my win condition. That's what I'm striving to do. Not
At least if you're not playing us eventually, you're not going to end up in a really shit Twitter clip.
I was going to
you know what?
say,
Fair.
I haven't seen a
Maybe
shot
not.
clip yet, so. But yeah, Jez, how do you feel about this? Because you're quite a lax guy. When I
Yeah.
when I first met Jez, he was like rocking up to like events and regionals. He'd be like, "Oh, I just turn up and do whatever." I was like, "But Jez, you've got X player." He's like, "Oh, I'll just play."
I'll just down tilt him.
No,
just down tilt.
I generally am very, very terrified for whoever I'm fighting. I always feel like, today's the day I'm going to get upset, or
Popped off on.
at any point, even round one,
yeah.
I very much believe it's like there's no win is guaranteed until you get that win, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, as Sean was saying, it's like just trying to take the tournament one set at a time and adapting. If there is an upset later down the line that you're not expecting, you just have to adapt on the fly. So,
100%.
I mean,
There's a really good interview I recommend checking out. It's Nico, the Shulk player from SoulCal. He won this tournament called Braveheart, Brave with Heart, something like that. Play with Heart, I think it was, some like Canadian regional or whatever. And he like talks about like in the interview like his like mentality going to the tournament. He talks about like he just views everyone as a challenge, right? Like if they're a person in this bracket and they make it to me, they got to be like challenging.
gonna be good, yeah.
You don't want to look at people as like good or bad or like worse or better.
Exactly.
It's just the opponent's in front of you. You gotta do your best, and hopefully you come out on top.
Yeah,
For
and
sure.
and upsets will happen during a day. There's, like you said, nothing is guaranteed. Upsets will happen. People will upset you. People will upset other players, and you've just got to look at it and say, right, I've got to play this person next. What do I know? And just do it on the fly. Like I wasn't prepared to play this, but actually it's done now. I've got to settle down and do my game plan and adapt as best I can. I'm a firm believer that a lot of players are just puzzles, and if you study hard enough,
Figuring them out. Yeah.
I feel like that's what makes a player better than somebody else, because they just adapted and figured out the puzzle in front of them faster than the other opponent did that. And I think this is why just knowing a lot of matchups just really, really helps, because if you get matchup checked by an Ices 5 years into the game, like you can't just. I feel no longer that's an excuse. You can't just say I didn't know the matchup. Like 5
There's a
years.
lot of characters in the game, though.
There are a lot of characters in the game. But
It's hard to remember it all.
we are 5 years later in the game. There is you can't just be saying, "Oh, I didn't know the matchup. I didn't know the matchup." Like that can't be an excuse anymore. Like there might not be so many ICs, but like you should be in a position where you've played at least every character in the game at least once.
Okay, but like, there's definitely going to be some like me sword fighter movesets you've never touched before, though. Yeah, come on.
I mean, absolutely, but like you should know what a me sword fighter does by now. Like you can't just be like,
even if it's just like on paper, for sure.
But they can change their moves.
They can change
They
them.
can change the special.
Okay, maybe not a good example.
Doesn't matter. They all get Rob side beat anyway, mate. It's true.
Down tilt trips everybody eventually.
Yeah.
That is true. So like what, 23% chance at lower percents?
I don't know what the percent chance is.
It's a 23% chance.
He doesn't know. Look, Jez doesn't know the.
This is what I mean earlier.
He just does.
Earlier, Jez was like, "Yeah, like when I'm leading up to a tournament, I just like to drown myself in smash knowledge bullshit." This guy knows fuck all about this game. I've been to too many locals. I've talked to him too much for him to say this shit and not get called out.
No. What I meant by that was just thinking about the game and thinking how I'm gonna play and like the practical side of it.
Thinking about this input here, downward tilt. Yeah.
Exactly. You hate that move, bro.
Shulks just have the B button and they just twirl the stick and
whee! Yeah.
Whee! I like it on speed.
You look at Sean. Look at Sean's like forearm. He's got like an enormous forearm from the amount of twiddling his thumb he's done. It's just
look at these guns, baby.
Oh, yeah.
That's right, and that's all from spinning the left stick around wildly.
Yeah, I mean, kind of going back to like preparing for brackets though. For me, I mean, I'm not as good as like Ches, Tom, and
me.
Sean, but like I'm like I do okay like at regionals, like I can make it a little bit far, like top 8 sometimes or whatever. So like I feel like when I look at my brackets, I always try and like pinpoint like a problem matchup or like a player. Like I'll always look at people that are like seated near me and like above, obviously.
Yeah.
But like also if my round 1 is like I don't know, like a duck hunt player or something, I'm like, right, I need to lock in, like fully remember, like I need to fully remember this matchup, because like if they're like some player who plays Wolf or something, it's like I know that matchup, I probably don't need to be like looking up Wolf stuff. And obviously I can still get upset, but at the end of the day, if that happens, I'm being outplayed. But I don't want to go into my round 1 and they've picked like me gunner and I'm just there like, what do I do? Like, like
Yeah.
you need to check. Like even it has been 5 years. I have played against me gunner before. Like I know I know what their moves are. But like locking into like the actual mindset of playing against it is different from knowing what it is.
Yeah.
In a way. But yeah,
Even,
that's just me. I just look at characters.
I think with like a lot of players too, I think fundies always generally comes over matchup checks. If you're just like fundamentally more sound than players, you'll generally win. Like
Yeah.
going back to Nico, funniest interaction I've ever had with this dude, I remember it was Evo 2019. I had to play Mekos. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Mekos. Like a really good Lucas player. Probably was the best Lucas
Didn't
in the
they
beginning
take
of
a
Ultimate.
set off Cola? I remember.
I think
Was
he
it
did,
Mekos?
yeah.
Yeah,
Or
I
no,
remember.
that was Choco Taco you're thinking of.
Choco Taco, yeah.
Fucking
Mekos
who?
generally considered like the best
Lucas Choco Taco.
Sorry, my bad.
for the beginning of Fortune Ultimate, definitely best Lucas, and he doesn't play anymore, I don't think. But I did play him at Evo, and I walk up to Nico before I play him, and I'm like, dude, I gotta go play Mekos. Like, what do I do? You know, you're Shoal God right now, so I need your help. He just looks at me, he's like, that character fucking sucks. I don't know. Just win. And he just walks away. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
So I just won. Like,
Yeah, that's a
Easy
really hard
as well.
matchup for Lucas as well, to be fair. So.
Most matchups are pretty hard for Lucas.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true.
Dabuz did the same thing when he had to play. I think it was Regalo for top 8 at some.
Oh yeah, was it like SmashCon like a couple years back or something?
Yeah.
Because Regalo beat like 3 Steve players back to back, and everyone was like, "Lucas speaks Steve."
Wow.
Steve. Yeah, Dabuz was like, "I've never played a Lucas in my life. Olicord, help me." And
dude,
then
the Buzz almost lost to Lucas recently. There's in like the 5 months I've been gone, 2 Lucas players, really good in Tri-State, came up, Smash Bros and Bubs, and the Buzz had to play Smash Bros at like winners finals at I think it was Stargate. Game 5 last hit, the Buzz won, but
really?
like it was
Lucas
crazy.
has some stuff. Lucas does have some stuff.
Lucas stocks are up.
With Rosa.
I'm sorry.
Did he go Rosa?
I think it was. I don't. It was either Rosa or Olimar. I think it was Rosa.
Yeah.
I wasn't watching. So
I mean, you just throw him off stage and down B, surely.
I mean, he's got tether, so
I just down A, down B.
if it was Ness, I'd agree, but fortunately, Lucas has a decent recovery.
Ness has
Sadly.
got hands though. I'm scared whenever I fight in Ness because like
I hate playing Ness.
it's just it's pain. You get it's just this mosquito and he's running around and he's just like hitting lagless buttons. Yeah,
I've had that matchup drilled in my head at this point, so got PK first in my region. I'm over it, man. I'm over that matchup.
Right, let's see you against Ascaro. Let's see you play a real Ness player.
Oh, okay, buddy.
A 13-year-old demon himself.
I would love to play Ascaro. That's the guy that beat Bloom, right? The kid that beat Bloom at UFA.
No, he beat Pelly, but yeah.
Pelly, sorry.
He's like beat like all of the London PR as well or something. So
he's I said he's the one who I think most people agree is definitely going to be on the up because he's very young, has a lot of free time, and is very good.
Yeah, I mean, if he's beating Pelly at like his age, crazy good. I want to play him.
He beat Darkstalker as well at an event in December.
Yeah, Scores as well. He's beating Scores.
At that same event.
Like he's basically like beating the whole London PR, I think. So
Bloom and Lugia are the only people I don't think he's beaten at this point in terms of like top UK players. Or maybe he's not playing Mace Beans. Either way, very good player.
I've not played him either.
Yeah, no, we were actually talking about the good players, Jess. So.
Sorry.
What about the top five? Yes.
Yeah.
You're
Sorry.
six.
Sorry.
You're
I'll
over
introduce
here. So top five here, six over here. So, yeah.
Also, Jez, quick question: Who do you
Yeah.
play? I'm not familiar with UKPR like at all. So.
Megalol!
Oh, I'm a big fan of Puff personally.
No,
I play Rob.
Puff. You don't play Puff.
Rob.
I play Rob.
Hence all the down tilt
Rob?
comments.
Okay.
Yeah,
Rob.
Rob. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So just top tier carried, So.
Yeah.
Only the sixth best character though.
Yeah. Oh, I'm wondering who else would be in the
two
top
tier lists
10 of
running.
this tier list.
You play the fifth best character in the game.
Wait, what?
The fifth is
right.
ages.
What's Diddy Kong? Diddy Kong.
Diddy Kong is ninth.
Oh,
What?
sorry.
Like ninth, yeah.
Bro, these top players need to play Diddy Kong against Duck Hunt or like Diddy Kong against some other random mid tier.
But Duck
They
Hunt's
need to
such
see
an
the light.
irrelevant character.
Oh my goodness, you're a relevant dude. Right.
That statement right there.
Play Diddy Kong
It's fair
Snake.
enough.
Play Diddy Kong Snake.
It's fine.
And try not to kill yourself challenge. It's
No, but
impossible.
He's got Ken he needs to worry about. The big old
Yeah.
robot needs to worry about Ken.
I hate fighting the FGCs.
That statement you just said, like, but X character is irrelevant. Why do I have to practice? That's how I feel living here. Man. This whole region.
Exactly.
That's how everyone else feels when
I
they have to play Shulk, mate.
I have
play
2
Shulk.
Duck Hunts at my local.
Okay. The UK is the one place you cannot say that because you have like 10 million adults running around, and I don't know
That's
why.
true. Yeah, that's true.
I thought I was special, man.
No, yeah. Sadly, you're just another Buzz Lightyear in a wall of
Exactly.
We've got you, we've got Robbie, we've got Scrat, we've got
Trinity, 400 other people.
There's like a couple more. Dude, the UK shop court has like 50 people in it.
What?
Oh, they're all hiding in the woodwork. They're like ants, ready to come out in invasion. It's not going to be the invasion of like Ireland or Holland. It's going to be the invasion of Shulks. Because we're going to have
be the 3v3 crew battle.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
We're be the reigning champions.
That's right.
Probably not, but we'll try it.
No, I'm pretty sure the plant gang is going to sweep because they've drafted Bloom in.
That's not fair.
So we as Team Instant are playing Team Plant, and I asked Billy, Billy, who's in your team? She's like, it's me, someone else who I don't know. I'm Bloom. I was like, fucking what? You've got, and then she had the nerve to say, we're used to playing against losing matchups, so I think we'll win. I'm like, sure, it has nothing to do with your top 30 players on your team.
We'll draft Luigi.
Oh, true. Shit, true. Is Luigi out?
Oh yeah.
Losing to Silver Lotto
as
Shulk is not.
No, he went Aegis against Silver Lotto.
I thought it was like Shulk, and then the last game.
It was okay that he lost to as Shulk.
Oh, okay, never mind. I take it back.
That's even more embarrassing.
You guys win.
losing to Little Mac as Shulk. That's not.
Yikes.
There's no excuse.
Can we get some input on that? Because that matchup.
I'm 2-0 on Peanut. Let that speak for itself.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Fair enough.
All you have to do is run off. I saw this Twitter compilation of a Japanese Little Mac playing a Shulk. And do you know what I'm on about? Like,
I love that video.
At the beginning, he's just like getting forward off stage, and he's like, then he starts doing really well, and then starts winning games, and then the last third of the video is just the Shulk forward airing off stage again, and he's back to losing. I just love
it's so funny. It's like I just need one like speed art there at like 20, and he's just dead every time.
The compilations of various characters timing Little Mac out are so funny. The DK one was fucking hilarious, where they were just sat there doing grounded down B, and there's nothing you could do.
Oh my god, the DK was so good.
Oh, DK is great into Mac.
Yeah, it's really rough.
Oh, poor Mac. You're just making his life even more hell than it needs to be.
Good.
It's got to be like one of his worst matchups. Easily.
DK, it's probably up.
Rather than like 20, that's it.
Oh, what's annoying for Mac is like you get down tilted, and if you don't get tripped on the first down tilt, they just down tilt again because it's guaranteed. And if they trip on the second one, they just dash grab, and it's true. And then just like
It was funny because at Smash Adventure a little while back, Tobbs was there. Little Mac from Bournemouth. Is he from Bournemouth?
Yeah.
He's a Wimborne warrior.
Wimborne warrior.
And
Yeah.
I go.
yeah, me and Tobbs met in Grands, and just before Grands, I think it was just before Grands, he said to me about how DK is horrible for Mac. And I
Yeah,
hadn't
it's
even
just like a
considered
random
it.
conversation we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just went on DK, and it felt way easier than Rob.
Oh yeah.
I can see
Yeah.
it. Why would any rational person sit down at the character screen and go, "Yeah, I'm going to play Little Mac today"?
I
That's what I feel
don't
about
care. I
DK
still
trade.
think he's better. Like he's like mid tier. I
No,
don't care. Yeah. Yeah.
you can't lose that hard to Donkey Kong and be a mid tier.
Yeah, you can.
I mean,
Donkey Kong's good, bro.
Donkey Kong is
it's
He's
good.
pretty
time. It's time to let go of these 2019 opinions. DK
That's right.
is
I agree.
not
Bowser
complete
sucks.
shit.
Bowser
He's got like the
sucks.
range of Cloud, but because he's a big body, his range is like the center point is much bigger.
Yeah.
He just covers so much area.
Anyway, we'll talk about
We-
this later.
We'll
Yeah.
come back a little bit.
Like you've rocked up at your regional. Like I'm gonna ask the question: the side event, squad strikes or dubs, and why? I'm team squad strike because dubs has just been left by the wayside.
I'm Team Dubs because I have friends.
Well, yeah, I feel like dubs isn't so relevant these days, but it's also like a classic Smash thing, and I feel like Squad Strike is kind of more. I would say if we're going to replace an event, it should be singles for Squad Strike.
I think Squad
Because
Strikes
it's-
is better than singles. No, it nerfs
because it's-
Steve.
It's a more display of like true skill and understanding of the game if you can play multiple characters at a high level, right?
Yeah,
Just put it out there.
that's a good take. I think we
I
should do
think-
Squad. If it wasn't so like terrible, like you know when you go into the select and you have to redo your name every single time on Squad Strike.
Yeah.
If that wasn't a thing, we'd be playing Squad Strike right now. If you can play it online, we'd be playing Squad Strike.
I do agree. Yeah, Squad Strike. If you could practice it online, I think would be a lot more popular. But the fact that there's just no way to practice it online it just makes it complete. But I'm just to answer your original question, dubs. So for me, Smash is a community game, and nothing encapsulates that more than dubs. Anything involving a team. Hence why I started this whole 3v3 thing recently. I think that the essence of Smash and what makes it good and what makes the events good is teams and rooting for people, and I think that dubs really lends itself to that. And it's fucking hilarious because you get some wacky interactions. You get people doing like the classic, I think it's actually what like the first thing that originally got me into like competitive Smash was watching Alpharad and his friend Joe infinite someone with Ness. By just magneting either side. I was like, oh my god, this is hilarious. And then like a couple of years later, I then saw people like infiniting someone with like, I think it was some weird shit with like a double swordy where they were just juggling them, but it was true, and it was like you get all this stuff. I think dubs is great because the point of a side event is to create a bit of hype, have a bit of fun. I think that a really try-hardy bracket like Squad Strike, I think there's less of a space for it. I think I'm Team Dubs all the way, and also because you get like the double of one character, you get like the double meta night, which I witnessed at Dragon's Den in Wales, which was hilarious, and then the double me gunner, which wasn't funny at all, but it was certainly there. So yeah, no, I'm Team Dubs every time.
But this
For
is my
sure.
problem with dubs. It's just if you're ever trying to if you take it as like a funny event, like like most people in the UK, because the UK doesn't really have like big scenes for doubles or squad strike. It's kind of like, oh, it's 9 a.m. Do you want to warm up? Play dubs, and you've got like so few static dubs partners in the UK to begin with. Like you've got obviously Maze Beans and Solid, or Maze Beans and Kerbo, or top player and top player.
They did
Top
some
player.
damage in
Player
Europe,
two,
It's just a
though.
safe bet.
Maze
Yeah.
Beans Kerbo did damage.
They
You know
got
what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course they beat MK Leo.
It was
And Big Boss, was it?
yeah.
Yep.
Killed with rock.
yeah, he did it.
So
The
good.
mad lad did it. But I agree. I think it. Yeah, I think in an ideal world, if people could practice Squad Strike, I think I'd be more down for it. But I think just for the pure fun that Dubs creates, I think it's perfect for a side event.
I think Cruise, man. I think neither.
I
think
mean,
there's
I do.
Cruz
Again,
is
I'm a
really-
huge fan of Cruz.
Ah,
But
true,
the
yeah.
problem with Cruz that they are, and this is the reason why with this whole thing at Grand Conquest, I don't want to turn it into a bracket. It's a fucking
Takes
pain
time.
in the ass to organize.
I see. Yeah.
Anything bigger than a 3v3, especially, is horrendous. But I do agree, Cruz are again what I think
Pretty hype.
because yeah, I agree because Cruz go back to what made fighting games big in the 90s, which
Yeah,
was
for sure.
you get your mates and you go down to the arcade and you go and challenge another group of people. Go, I think you're shit. I would like to say, and like that's where like that's how fighting games got big in the first place was like beef, fake or otherwise. And crew battles, I think, are a really good kind of homage to that. And I'm a huge fan of crews. I think that they are so wasted on shitty Wi-Fi crew leagues, full of the most annoying people I've ever come across. And so I wish that more events had crew battle stuff. I think they're great.
I feel like what we're lacking though in the UK is just beef to begin with. Like people are generally quite
I've been
nice.
trying. I've been trying so hard.
Even the beef is so lame. Like it's so
It's
bad.
because Smash players are nerds.
I know, but like if you look at like
We need each other.
American Twitter, that is some beef. You've got like
yeah.
random Warriors being like, Nate or you? He's awful. I can do better than that.
Jordan, I've still got that clip of Hummingbee screaming, "Shut the fuck up, Jordan! Shut the fuck up!" burned in my brain. That was beautiful beat. I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think we're kind of too, because we're quite a small scene in the UK. We're too nice to each other, and we kind of don't want to run the risk of accidentally actually pissing someone off. So we
Like,
just have to stick to other stuff.
Like I said earlier, like the Jersey and the North and South Jersey,
Hmm.
like that whole rivalry started because none of them would put each other on the PR. I think a lot of this, I think it was the South Jersey put a few of the North Jersey players on their PR. But when it came time for the North Jersey players to put South Jersey players, they were like, "Nah, you're not good enough." So South Jersey were like, "Bet, come on then," and then they did a crew battle. Or like there was one in for Project M. It was like IHOP versus Penny.
IHOP.
Oh
I
yeah.
was gonna say.
I think the issue with doing that in the UK is that our regions are so mismatched that if you try to do regional beef, one team is just going to curb stomp the other.
Yeah, I suppose.
So for example, like if I, as a proud Southwest rep, wants to start beef with it, my choice. If I want to have an even matched beef, I got to choose like Yorkshire or like a sub-region of London, and even then we're probably getting fucking destroyed.
This is like
yeah.
like the North and South like Jersey thing, but it's like Eastern like the east of the Southwest and the west of the Southwest. It's like
Yeah, true. There is
us
actually
being like,
genuine
we're not putting
like
you on RPR because you're shit, and then it's
Yeah.
like then you go to like we exist.
Well, no, literally, it's like the east of the southwest. When I was in Plymouth, then us in the west of the southwest going, "Oh yeah, we'll show you. We'll send Lily and shit."
the big one that comes in
And Lily's fucking
almost
retired now anyway. They play fucking Nasby too. So
Whereas America's like, I'll send 2 of the best players in the entire world, and then like multiple top 100 reps. Who you got?
Oh, you're
and it's
cancel
like-
the PR. Luigi's calling our whole region shit. Cool. You now have to deal with Zomba, the Buzz, Tweak. Good luck.
and
mate.
That's New Jersey. He's not New York. He's New Jersey.
and so yeah, like we can't really have much inter-regional beef because the regions are so mismatched, and there's like one player in each region who's a head and shoulders above the rest usually.
It's usually very obvious which places are stronger than others.
Yeah, and it's like if me just
Generally.
goes, I think the Midlands are shit, then I'm gonna get like the whole of the Midlands who are much better than me correctly saying, "Oh no, obviously this is false."
Well, why are you so keen to start fights with everyone?
It's fun. It's
Yeah, why
fun.
can't we just be nice actually?
Because beef when executed well is fun.
Yeah.
And crew battles are
You want it
hilarious.
well done.
And salty sweets are amazing, and I love that shit. I think that we need to get better at fake beef. We need people to play
Yeah,
along
Jeff.
more because people.
Let's start some fake beef.
True. Actually, you know what? Let fucking No, I actually can't. I can't. I was gonna do some fake Diddy Kong beef with judges, but I've got nothing.
Judges, I'm going to translate what Aaron said. Aaron told me before we came on that he actually thinks that your clips are shit He thinks
damn.
that you are incredibly overrated, that you don't deserve your spot on any PR you're in, and that you're a banana tossing carried scrub lord. So next event you're both at, we need a
That's a
salty
really
between the two of
interesting
you.
I did hear Aaron say that.
interpretation.
Yeah.
I just
I heard him say that.
I mean, I feel
Jen,
like
bro, I
And
need
while I'm
you.
here,
See,
shit.
hype clips,
Oh, yeah, we can
whatever,
do
bro.
that.
You go to
I'm more
MGC
hyped
too?
than judges, but
No,
it
I'm
doesn't
not.
matter
I
because
won't be
Amy's
there,
more hyped than both
unfortunately.
of us.
I go to King Kong.
No.
No.
see,
Dude,
the thing
I
is,
wanted to. I
are you
wanted
gonna
to.
ride? Are you gonna ride?
I also think
I
don't
tried to
think,
get the time
no.
of work and my manager said no.
Are you gonna
I'm,
be at
I'm, taking,
Regen?
I'm taking a little bit of a break at the moment, so
Okay, fair.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
You're gonna go
someday
to Regen.
we'll get there.
the thing
Regen?
is,
I'll
Yeah,
try
we'll
to
be
get
there,
region. Yeah.
Okay,
Station?
fake beef between us. Regen. That's where you put money on it.
Oh,
Just sort of
say
sweet.
less.
like the
After his tweet, after his podcast, you tweet go out, Jez, your ass.
Go for
That's
it.
right.
Go for it.
Yeah,
Bring it.
we need more people to play along when someone insults them jokingly. Rather than just
Yeah.
laughing or haha, you're right. No, you need to say, no, you're shit. And the other person has to understand the social cue that this is a bit, we're doing a joke here.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Uh,
like, they have to not actually get offended here.
And
Like,
yeah.
Oh,
the
yeah,
issue
true.
the issue is
That's
that
like
all the people I
yeah.
do that with are already much better than me, and so the joke is clearly that I'm actually shit. I need you guys who are actually good to start this joking beef because I can't do it because I don't have the skill to back it up.
It's genuinely hard though to like find somebody in the UK who has. This is my thing. I've struggled for a while to find somebody who's as good as me, and this might really sound.
I can name
really dumb.
loads.
That sounds really
No.
arrogant. But
It really does. No. But like,
I know you do.
of all the people I've played, either they're much better than me, or I've beaten them so bad into submission that it's really difficult to find somebody who to just go back and forth in sets with.
Mm.
Once you sort of climb, because like if you're like fighting for the top 5, yeah, you're gonna have competition.
Mm.
But like I'm in the middle of like the high level wasteland where it's like the people around me are either a lot better than me or they're not as good as me, and it's just sort of like you kind of get lost. Whereas
Mm.
like the reason the Puff drama blew up is just because it was generally just Corvus and Electric who were of similar steel going, I'm better than you, and then Electric going, nah, your region's rubbish. I'm better than you, and Corvus going, actually your region's rubbish, I'm better than you. And that's the whole reason the Puff drama sort of like took
Yeah.
off.
Mm.
I
Whereas
think we
It's
need
actually
more of that
Kiwis
with
best buff.
that's
Say that again?
exactly. We all know
Kiwi.
Kiwi's better.
yeah,
Oh yeah. But like in
I've
America,
not seen Kiwi play.
I've
Very
not
good.
either, honestly.
they're pretty
He's
good.
Scotland though, so he's
Yeah, so obviously the best. Obviously.
I definitely think shock players are definitely carried by their Monado arts. So
yeah. I love
so
people
you-
learning out of the 0 to death. That's
Wow,
like
that was such
I was
a
gonna, yeah, I was
that was
gonna
such
say,
a
Zana,
genuine complaint from Jez. Oh my god.
if you wanna run no Monado arts and I'll go no gyro, I'll be happy to do that.
I would honestly do
Wanna
that.
do that?
I
We can do
don't know. I don't feel
No,
like
this is all
fair
wrong. You're
trade
being
with
too
Rob.
nice. Someone call the other person a cunt. We need to like.
Aw,
Yo, one piece of culture shock I got when I got here
Oh.
was cunt is a very like
That's a no-no
it's
in America.
It's
Yeah.
Casual
like in
word.
the US, that's like the fucking like holy grail of curse words. Like,
Yeah.
you don't say that shit back home.
Yeah, it's. I feel
kinda
like
is here
in
as
the
well,
UK,
but-
it's just like way more common.
Who cares?
Like I've gotten used to it by now, but like I remember when I first got here, someone was like, "Oh, I can't." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "What the?"
You're like, what did you say?
Like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
I thought they were trying to start a fight.
Exactly. That's what I thought.
Yeah, Sean's now beefing with Ed, like
You should have money
trying to
matched me
find
right
some
there.
free salty sweet.
Yeah, no, don't. You'll definitely win. Don't do that.
But yeah, like moving on sort of from that, like obviously the entire like a lot of people's goals is to sort of get good at this game, and we've seen a few people in the last sort of like year or so, or even 2 years, sort of like eclipse and come from like that sort of like mid level into higher level into like top level. I was going to ask, is there what do you think is like not the secret, but if you were trying to move from like a high level or a mid level to go upwards, what do you think is the way forward? Because you know a lot of people want to get there and will put the effort in, but knowing exactly how to get from here to here is difficult, isn't it? So have you got any advice, or have you got any sort of like habits or things? I'd be interested.
I would say one of the main things, I feel like I see a lot of people, they'll often try to they'll do the sort of very similar things all the time, and when improving they'll try to refine those same things. But I think, like, I feel like people are already good at those things, so what would be better is to do different things and try to see Smash as more like a fluid game where you can just kind of, with all your options available to you, there's so many different things you could go for, and just like really experiment and try to play differently rather than sticking to like a specific game plan sort of thing, you know?
Solid advice.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I think what makes players like better than one another is, I think it's two really important aspects. I think it's both the speed and the quality of your decision making. I remember playing Zamba, and we had a conversation about this after he beat me, and he was like, "Yeah, no, I think you're making very like similar quality decisions to me. I just think you're not quick enough. Like, I think you're just too slow with it." And it really got me thinking and like looking into this concept a little bit. There's this concept by Daniel Kahneman. It's like a theory, or a theory, I guess you call it. It's like System 1 and System 2, and like I'm sure like a lot of people like throw this around like
Yeah.
in
We love
it's
that.
Smash and like FGC and stuff, but
Yeah.
it's legitimate. The System 1 is like your whole like automatic like intuitive like recognition. Like I hold this up, it's a phone. You didn't try to think it's a phone. You just like recognized it. Your System 1 automatically did that for you. You can't really turn it off. And then there's your like System 2, which is like your more like deliberate thinking. If I ask you to solve like 28 times 46, no pen, no paper, it's gonna take a minute, right? That's like your deliberate like thinking going. And the way we get like good at these like really like decision making skills is we have to use our System 2 well enough and long enough to essentially make these skills like secondhand nature, to like put them in our System 1, right?
Definitely.
Like we gotta play with that focus. We gotta play with like deliberate effort. Someone mentioned that in here before. I forgot who it was, but we have to play with like that deliberate effort. With working on certain things and have certain goals for ourselves, and really just be able to send ourselves in a certain direction. We can't just play mindlessly. I think a lot of people in the scene, I mentioned a little bit before, are too focused on the result, the outcome of everything. But I think it's when we take a step back and realize that that part doesn't matter. Our results don't mean anything. That we can really just drop our ego, put it aside, and be like, all right, I need to do this. I need to do that. Let's work on that. Even if it means I lose a little bit more, that's fine.
Even if it means you lose every week to a snake at your local weekly.
Yeah, that's fine, man. I will lose to any snake forever and ever.
That's right. So will Aaron. So that's good.
I'd actually like to bring attention to this as like a side plot point of the podcast as it goes on. I am currently 3 wins in a row against Boat Snake. Okay,
Oh, finally.
that's this week's update. So
respectable.
let's
He's
hold
very
the
good.
snake comments until next week when I lose. Okay.
I actually got to play him in friendlies, Dead Zone. He's a really good player for sure.
He is.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he's him and Aaron are the two top in Bournemouth. It's
I get bombed almost always. So.
Until Trundle comes back.
Until Trundle comes back. Well, she's just playing Strive now.
Oh,
she is, yeah.
Oh, that's sad to hear.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's important, like you said, to just sort of drop, because a lot of people will externalize why they lost and be like, oh, I was tired, my misinputs happened, I don't know the matchup. Whereas like a lot of a good quality to have is just like, right, I lost. What can I learn from this? How can I develop? And then obviously you do your VOD reviews and things, but looking at what you did right, and then obviously shoring up, like Jez said, the things you weren't so good at, shoring those up, and then again next week practicing. And it's just that little by little, because I think, like people say, I got 6th at the week, I got 7th at the weekly, and then the next week that you get 9th, you're like, well, I did worse. I'm getting worse, but it's not actually that. It's just like, take what you can from it. The results don't mean much until you start applying yourself and you start getting better. So
so much
I
of your
want to
results.
just. Oh, you go. Sorry, you go.
so many, like, such a big portion of your results is out of your control, like bracket luck and like even
Yeah.
just
For
small
sure.
little stupid things, like someone bumping their chair, you lose focus. That's not your fault, right? Like,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
some days you're not going to play as well as others. Like, it's very hard to be consistent in a game as fast paced as this. And when you realize
Absolutely.
your results don't matter just on you. It doesn't just matter on your opponent. It matters on so much more. Just like the universe just wants to like fuck you over sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Like I've heard horror stories of like fire alarms going off middle of set or something, and
Yeah.
like
Oh,
distract people. Like
And you always
it's
hear
I,
about
fun.
like
I lost.
monitors turning off and things like that, and that's
I lost the set because the stars weren't aligned just right.
Yeah, it's like why should I make my goal something that is out of my control?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good shout.
Exactly.
The one thing I
That's a good
just.
point.
Oh no, sorry, Jez. I keep interrupting people.
Oh, I was just gonna say, Tom, you said about being tired or miss inputs. Like those can be valid excuses, but it's like, what are you gonna do about it to fix it for next time?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right?
I
Yeah.
mean, like, I think a lot of the thing is like trying to raise your minimum level of gameplay to become
Yeah.
better because
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the difference between like good players and not so good players is that a good player can win if they're playing badly because,
Yeah.
like you said, they've developed the system one, like system two, their autopilot, if you will, is
Mm.
fine tuned enough to where they can play sloppy, but they can still win because their lower level of playing is good and it's consistent.
For sure.
Whereas, a lot of the difficulty is, like you said, trying to be consistent in an inconsistent game. And that's why people like rave about DeBuzz. He's not winning things, like, but people keep putting him, in the top 20, top 15, top 10 because he just turns up and he gets second or he gets like seventh. Like, that's super consistent, and people rate him as one of the best players in the world. But all he's done really is make sure that his average gameplay, even if he's playing like absolute dog, is really, really good. Is of a super high caliber. So it's trying to make sure that your worst gameplays on your worst days just gets a little bit better each time because
Mm.
nobody's going to be playing 100% all the time.
Exactly.
I'm going to bring out this. I can't remember what tournament it was, Jez, where you played Rhyme, the Fox player. You looked awful.
Oh
that
yeah,
day. You
that
looked
was the day
dreadful.
that I started to like
Yeah,
start taking care of myself a lot better because that
yeah.
was another case of like I went to bed really late because I was up playing friendlies with people the night before, and
Mm.
it's just not worth it.
And
So
it really speaks to like how important it is to just be like more of a complete person. Like it really helps like doing better. Even just like
Yeah.
your mood state, we often associate like poor performances with these negative feelings we have, like anxiety, fear, stuff like that, anger for in a lot of cases. But inversely, like those positive emotions are very more closely associated with like flow state and like
Yeah.
achieving it and playing well, optimal performance.
Yeah. So honestly, like two things. Firstly, following from that, yeah, go for a run, you lazy bastards, because
Never.
nerves 100% make you play worse because you become jittery, and the best way to reduce anxiety and nerves is to increase your body's tolerance for variation in heart rate, and the best way to do that is to be healthy. Go for a run. But so what I was going to say is because as someone who probably here has made the most improvement in the last 18 months because my baseline was much lower because I was a 1 to a K rule 18 months ago. I think that a big mistake people trying to move up one rung on the ladder, as it were, make is that they kind of jump the gun a bit. And I think understanding that you're not very good is really helpful, and understanding and being kind of modest enough to just approach people who you know are only just better than you and admit that they're better than you, because it's all well and good saying like, oh no, it's not hard for me to admit, oh, Jez is better than me. Well, obviously Jez is better than me, but me like admitting that another like person on my level is just a bit better than me. Like for example, like Electric, like at Bournemouth, like he's better than me. That's fine. I don't have any qualms about that. But like that hurts a bit more to say, not because he's a fucking gnome, but because there's a much more hesitation to admit that someone who's just a bit better than you is but then that's very valuable because they have just made the leap that you're trying to make. Whereas Jez made the leap that I'm trying to make fucking 15,000 years ago, back when he was 20. I'm not am I 20? I'm not 20. Either way, like he made the leap a long time ago. So like the person who has just improved from my level is much more useful potentially as a learning resource than someone who's way better and has already made that jump. And I think the mistake people make is sometimes only valuing advice from people who are top players or high level players when they're trying to make a leap that's far lower than that.
And trying to play against top level players who are just so much better than you is sometimes just really difficult because how much can you be learning if you're getting curb stumped like 3-stock, 2-stock every single game, and it just feels like, you know, the better part is just to play somebody like Ed said who's either a little bit better than you or just that moderate amount better than you. So like,
For
you
sure.
know, if I'm a current 2-2er, I'm probably looking to play like a 3-2er and a 4-2er and get their opinions on it, because, you know, if I walk up to like Lugi and he just zeroed a Destiny 3 times, it's like, what am I learning? Like,
I mean,
so
I think there's definitely a lesson to take away in the sense of like learning how to take losses. I think that's a
Oh yeah.
very important thing. Like whenever I coach like newer players, my first thing is just go money match that top player. You're not winning. Like accept that you're not going to
Oh
win.
yeah.
I want to see how you take that loss. That's like one of the first things I'm looking out for, right?
Yeah.
Pain
like,
for
Oh
the
yeah.
experience of loss.
Well, no, that's no one of the first. Again, anyone who's seen the Smash Melee documentary from all those years ago, that's how Korean DJ got good. He was a rich kid who went to Smash tournaments and just money matched like Ken and all those other. And he was just a rich kid, and he got good by money matching top players. It works. Like obviously,
One
I'm not
problem,
saying go
one
and
problem.
piss all your pocket money away as
One
like a
problem.
13-year-old.
Not rich. How do I do it?
But yeah, no, but obviously the point is, I mean, and obviously
Okay,
these
okay.
days you can get experience with top players without paying for it. You can just go, especially the UK where we spoke about this like last time. Like we're fortunate that I mean Bloom will play friendlies with fucking anyone. Same with Lugi as well, like, and Owl, and I mean
Yeah.
Jez. I'm pretty sure you play friendlies with basically anyone as well. Like
never
you
played
know,
with him.
never played Jez though. He's
Why not? What?
uh,
I'm fun to play with, right?
yeah, down tilt. And so yeah, but I think there is yeah, despite what I said, there is, as you say, Sean, there is a lot of value in playing someone who's much better, because you can also see, like, if nothing else, watch what they're doing. Don't really, if anything else, don't even really bother paying attention to what you're doing, because what you're doing is wrong, clearly, because you're not a top player. Look at how they're beating you rather than look at how you're losing, if that makes sense. I think that's quite helpful.
Yeah. No, for sure. For sure. And like my point more along the lines of like you can train your mentality in a way, the same way you like level up your gameplay. 'Cause I think once you hit a certain point in this game, it's like all just mental from that point forward, right?
For sure.
Like Jez is sort of like the biggest example of that, because, you know, you were a high level player a year ago, and then it doesn't feel like much has changed with you, like gameplay wise, but
Yeah.
actually,
Mentality, a lot's changed.
yeah, and
Yeah.
just learning to take those losses and just like building from those.
Because I used to be obsessed with results because I was all about the rankings and trying to make PR. And as soon as I didn't make it for not last season but the season before, I was kind of ready to kind of throw it in then, just retire there. But because I had a couple tournaments left of the season that I'd already paid for, I was like, I might as well just go have a bit of fun, and that really just took the pressure off. And I just played how I wanted to play, and it ended up working out. And that's how I kept going.
You finally beat
And then I beat
Pelly.
Pelly. Yeah.
There you go.
I think some people crumble under the weight they put on themselves. There was a player who I know quite well who I had a couple of sets with, and it was for a top 8 spot at a regional. But the top 8 spot didn't matter, as in they weren't trying to do it for the position. They were trying to do it for something else, which contributed to a bigger thing. And some people might know who I'm talking about, but it doesn't matter. But I play this person quite frequently, and our sets are very close. But this time, I didn't really fear anything. But this person was very anxious and very nervous because they had a lot riding on this, for a wider thing, and it was a very very easy set. And then after it, I learned why. And then it was just like they crumbled under the pressure that they put on themselves.
Exactly.
And if your goal is to try and get top 8, and you know you're a stock down everything comes crashing down. It's like, I'm not going to get top 8. I'm not very good at this game. I'm never going to achieve my dreams, etc., etc. And then it just becomes sort of like a self-fulfilling
Spirals.
mentality.
And equally, that's how you
Spiral.
choke game. That's how you choke game 5s when you're 3 stocks up.
Exactly.
Because you're like, oh, I've done it, Aaron.
I've done it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think my like mentality is like really weird because I think I have a really actually good mental 95% of the time.
Mentally untouchable.
Yeah, like mentally untouchable. That's like the
Mentally
whole thing,
untouchable.
right?
You're mentally touched all the time.
But yeah, like I think I'm like so
Mentally
fine, and then I think
violated.
after the set is when I'm not fine. I'm like fuming. I'm like I don't know. I'm a pretty big molder, to be fair. I think it's not really a secret. So, but like during the game, I'm usually like locked in fine until it says game. But it's like after that, I'm just like rage.
Yeah. I remember one set at Den as well. I was playing against Sabby on stream, who's like a Falcon player, and I won game 1 and I lost game 2. And I started panicking. I was like really panicking. I was like starting to breathe faster. My hands got like super sweaty. Because that game I just kept rolling in. I just kept pressing buttons and I got like nair one need like 3 times and just died at 60, which for Simon I shouldn't really be doing. And I remember it was the last game, game 3, we were both stock apiece, and they hit me off stage with a nair, and in that moment I just sort of like did nothing because I've been mashing buttons all the time, like mashing jump out of disadvantage because you're scared. I was crumbling. I was like, I shouldn't be losing to this. I should be, I was seeded like 9th. I should be getting there, and then I just stopped and I was like, let's slow this down. And then I was just about able to make the comeback, but like if I didn't slow myself down, I would have easily just got absolutely bodied, and probably my entire event would have been ruined. But like just having that.
I'm
Yeah.
assuming you don't even mean like slowing down your gameplay. You just mean like slowing yourself down, like
Slowing
your
myself,
emotions and
yeah.
things, right?
So I got
Yeah.
hit, and I remember just not pressing anything, and then obviously they whiffed it down there, and I was able to recover, and I was back on stage, and that it sort of clicked. I was like, huh, I just need to slow down. And
Exactly.
Press that B button.
yeah, press the B button. So yeah, it's always difficult when you've put grand expectations on yourself because they'll all come crashing down. And
I mean, yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say it must be terrible being like Spargo or like Zombo, where you've got all these crushing expectations,
Patience.
like
Not just on yourself, but from the world around you.
Also from your
The whole
sponsor. I
community.
mean, like,
I remember
Oh, that's sponsor,
yeah.
I remember watching him versus, I think it was Lai the Corin, and he was like last stop, and you could see Spargo just mashing landing forward there because he was like, "Oh my goodness, I'm about to lose! Mash forward there, mash forward there, mash forward there," and yeah, like so mentality that's the difference between like a 33rd and a top 8. So
yeah, emotions suck. Yeah.
I mean, definitely. I think there's a role of like expectations and pressure like that. And I think, to a certain degree, they're like healthy. Like with flow state and like optimal performance, like
Definitely.
there's like a certain level of anxiety people have to reach. You go too little, you get under challenge. You don't feel like super in it. You get too high, you get anxious, and all the stuff you were just talking about.
It's definitely a balance.
It's about managing the expectations and like where to use them. I think external motivations are great away from the game, but when you're actually in the game, that could very easily lead to an over like flow of your emotions and anxiety and stuff. But there are definitely like techniques you could use to calm yourself down. There's like breathing methods, meditation, and stuff like that. I'm a huge proponent of like mindfulness and like meditation mid set. I think is a great way. And like breathing techniques. There's this paper Stanford just put out, talks about this thing called cyclic breathing, where it's like you breathe into like about 50%, or cyclic sighing, that's what it's called. You breathe into about 50% capacity, you pause for a moment, and then you finish the full breath to the full extent, and then you exhale for 4 seconds, I believe. And it's a great way to calm yourself down. It's actually shown really good benefits. Apparently, it's something we do in our sleep naturally. It's something to do with like the oxidation in our blood that helps calm ourselves down a little bit. And there's like a bunch of techniques like that you can use, whether it's like mindfulness, cyclic sighing, whatever it may be. There's definitely
I've
a lot of things you
tried a
can do.
few breathing techniques before, like mid-set, especially when I'm feeling like extra anxious. It's never worked. for
It's
me
about the
personally,
intention of
it's
your
never
breathing.
worked.
Yeah.
Because also
Yeah.
like the breathing technique alone sometimes doesn't work. Cyclic sighing is more of a like physical thing rather than like a mental thing. But like
Mm.
like breathing techniques in terms of like meditation and mindfulness, it's more rather than just having the breathing technique, it's more the idea of focusing on your breath to kind of
Yeah, for sure.
deassociate yourself or disassociate yourself from what's going on from
I
causing
said
that.
this last week as well. But stop drinking fucking energy drinks.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate those. I
They're
even like soda. I
so
can't do.
bad for like your mental because your blood pressure is all over the place, your pulse rate's all over the place, your blood sugar's fucking going mental. They're awful. Smash has stopped doing it.
I
They're
don't
so
understand
bad.
Red Bull. I can't get
It's when I
behind
see
Red Bull
6
at all.
discarded monster cans at the weekly. I'm like, firstly, it's a
Oh.
weekly. What are you doing,
Just from one
Alison?
person.
I
Secondly,
have to take a moment every time because I've been there, and I'm just like, bro, it's like
it's so bad.
heaven in the
It's so
bag that I'm
interesting.
taking home.
It's so interesting how bad it is because like it's also very like Red Bull is very closely associated with a lot of, like sports gaming related things. So you see like all these like gamers like get like hooked on this shit. My undergraduate school, I did coaching for their esports club for 4 years, and one of the funniest things I've ever seen is like I think it was like towards the end of our third year we got sponsored by G Fuel and we got like like a partnership with them or something,
Oh Jesus!
Mm.
and they provided us like free cases of G Fuel and like a mini fridge, and you can like sign one out
Wow.
every day, one per player. And like it was so like weird to see all these like random like gamer kids who like people in the club who don't even like drink coffee or anything just get hooked on this fucking like 300 milligram caffeine energy drink, drinking one every day because it's free shit. Why not take it, right?
Yeah.
And it's like it was honestly like some of the people I know got like genuinely like pretty hooked on this shit. Like this is one kid I
Yikes.
know who keeps like fucking cases of this stuff in the back of his car. I'm just like, this is like the worst thing that happened to this club. Like we don't get like paid or anything from them. It's like you get exposure. Like we're like who are we exposed to? We're a college club. We're supposed to be like exposed to people in our school, not fucking G Fuel Twitch viewers.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It doesn't
that's
make
great.
sense to me.
I understand, and we'll come back to nerves and stuff. Like your last hit, game 5, top 8 qualifier at your regional. If your blood pressure's going crazy, it'll affect your brain and it will make you go. I said like, it'll mean that the stuff that the breathing stuff won't work because your body is physically going insane. So like yeah, just this stuff's so bad, and also it's just really fucking unhealthy. And just being healthy. There's a reason why like a lot of like, not all of, because some top players are really unhealthy, but some of them are very. They're like they go to the gym all the time because having a steady heart rate is really useful.
For
Yeah,
sure.
it helps a
It's
lot.
all about like the physical, the emotional, the mental, the spiritual even. It's like what is your purpose with this game, right? I think that's at the end of the day, like I just view Smash as something that is just a tool, it's a vehicle for self-improvement. It's a vehicle for just showing up and
Mm.
giving my all to something and just trying to just be the best Sean I can be, And
Yeah.
I
That's
think when you
beautiful.
really have your thank you. I think when you really have your purpose defined, like something like this, it really helps honestly just
It's why it's something,
Mm.
back to something we spoke about at the end of the last episode was about like how hard or easy it is to play Smash competitively as someone with a job. It's one of the ways that I actually think is easier because
that's why we're friends.
my whole identity is not pegged on how good I am at Smashy Bros because I have a career that I'm very proud of. And so at the end of the day, I might be mad driving home from the local. But at the same time, it'll subside because I've got other things I'm happy about. So like
Yeah.
having other shit, even if it's just other hobbies, it's why like I kind of don't envy students sometimes because like if Smash is their only thing they're doing in their free time, it's really easy to fall into the trap of like panicking when something's going wrong because that's all you got. It's like, yeah,
They serve as like important emotional buffers. And I think everyone needs something like that. It's you see a lot of people who really stake their like entire self worth on this game. You know the
Yeah.
kind of people that like lose in bracket, they tweet like I hate my life.
Yeah.
yeah,
They show up the next week and it's like, all right,
yeah.
man, like glad to see you do this again, just like last week.
Yeah,
It's
and then
just a
they'll like tweet
hobby.
again anyway, and
Enjoy
it's
it.
like,
Enjoy the hobby. It's a fun hobby.
I don't understand people who like show up and rage every week. It's like, do you just like enjoy making yourself miserable? Like, I
Letting
don't.
off steam, innit?
Let me step in here as the rager and the cool.
Oh yes.
So I have been on, a few rants in person
You've
after
caused,
losing
a few noise
certain
complaints,
characters.
Aaron.
Everyone
Caused a
gets a
few
few.
noise complaints.
He's also been on Yeet Smash about 5 times, so
Oh, really?
It's
He-
not that bad. It's
he's
not
worse
okay.
than
I've been on
K9's
Elite.
Bruce.
I've been on Yeet like one time for rage, but the rest of them
No,
is for
like
sick combos. Okay. Anyway, no, I mean, like, I think it's like because I'll rage at the local and complain about characters, and it's like I do in the moment genuinely need to let off some steam, but also I do feel like I do it in like a semi-jokingly kind of way where it's not like uncomfortable for other people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's
hope.
hilarious.
Like,
I mean, the
like
people
I know
that,
what
like-
I'm saying, and I know how I'm saying it. Like I'm not coming across like weird and like.
And
just,
it's not
like,
self-destructive as
bad.
well. It's
No,
just
like-
it's letting off steam, which is
Yeah.
kind of ultimately is why I play Smash.
Like I don't
Smash
lose, and then I'm like I'm shit as a person. What is the point of my
Mm,
life? Like
Yeah,
that sort of thing. Like
exactly.
I have other stuff going on as well. Like, I'm fine. It's just
similar-
like in the moment.
Similar to pop-offs, it's just a sudden release of energy that it's finally kind of the game's just finished.
It's over.
And that's fine. I mean, more
Jeff,
so the
your
people who
picture.
like have like like the Squidward clock episode of SpongeBob of like a closet full of controllers. Come back with a new one every week. Like those are the
Yeah.
kind of people I mean, where like they just
Mm.
cycle through these controllers or just like do like the most insane shit when they lose. Like I've seen I'm not gonna name who because whatever, but I remember this one tournament. It's called Weight Bounce in a community or something, and grand finals like ended with Sinji winning from a timeout, and the guy who lost, he like went out to the parking lot, like spiked his controller on the concrete, started jumping on it like over and over again the whole time. He's like, Sinji has no friends, fucking loser, blah blah blah, and like it's like shit like that where I'm just like
That's a lot of cope.
like do you and this guy was like a repeat offender on like a weekly basis for so
Jesus.
long. It's just like why?
Yeah, I think there's like a
Like-
limit as well. Like when you make it
why are we
personal
so
and like
short?
when you're like throwing shit and everything, it's like okay, like you need to calm down.
Yeah,
like,
Also,
that's
it's
too
like,
far.
I would say like go and get another hobby, but like I know some of these people in other areas of my life, and these are the kind of people who would rage at like anything.
Yeah,
So
like
it's
that's
it's
like
a
a
deeper issue.
beyond
yeah.
Smash Bros issue. That's like
Mm.
a you problem you got to figure out. I think.
They got
Exactly.
tilted at Stardew Valley. Someone I know, he got
Nice,
angry
yeah.
at
Such a relaxing game.
Like he got like I may have pushed him on. Either way, like
I may have antagonized.
I wasn't
Talking
pulling
shit
my
at him the whole
part.
time.
I wasn't pulling my weight. I was wasting time by fishing. Anyway, that's a whole different story. By the way, like I think some people need to like. I think there is a serious thing. I think some people do need to just not play Smash if it makes them act and feel like that.
Yeah.
Because I think at some level you gotta sort some other stuff out before you do that.
Or at least take a break, or just like still play it but
Yeah.
casually. Like you don't have to compete. Like
Yeah,
the
Could be
scene's
a
like really
platform.
friendly and nice. Like you can just come
Yeah.
for like the vibes almost. Like there's no
Yeah,
Could
like
be a
said
platform
person-
to show your growth in terms of getting over those issues. So,
yeah, like said person from before. He doesn't really enter locals anymore. He just enters the occasional regional or whatever, and he just is chilled out. Like ever since he stopped
Nice.
like going so much or whatever. So yeah, I'm glad to see that like growth from him. And yeah, I think sometimes people just need to like take a break. Maybe like they burn themselves out, go to a little too much. I've definitely been a victim of just going to way too many events. I feel like I'm gonna have that
Yeah.
issue kind of soon, given how much I'm traveling in the
Yeah.
upcoming weeks. But
yeah.
yeah,
I've got to run in a minute, by the way, Tom.
That's
So
right.
is it? Are we? I was gonna say I feel like this is
Yeah.
probably a good time for me to
Probably a
leave.
good-
Actually, we're in
good time
between
to sort of tie
topics,
up,
so
yeah.
I'm gonna run now because I actually got to run. But yeah, cheers, guys. I will
Alright,
catch you
see
guys
you
later.
next time,
See
Ed.
you later.
great
Hey,
talking to you,
thank
bro.
Yeah, you
I'll
too, man.
see you at MGCQ.
Yes, I will. Yeah, we'll
Looking
beat
forward
you.
to playing you guys.
We'll beat you. Easy.
But I think we're gonna wrap it up there. Ed's gone, he had to
Think so,
dip.
yeah.
So yeah, we've been going for a while too. So it's been a fun episode. It's really nice to meet you and talk to you, Sean. By the way, been seeing you
Yeah,
making moves
nice to
up
meet
in
you, Sean.
Scotland and everything. And I gotta say, Jez, that might be one of the best podcasts I've recorded in a while.
That's one
To
of
be honest,
the
my
best
friend.
podcasts I've heard in a while.
Yeah,
personally.
gotta be.
Um,
Yeah, no. So it's a really good episode, though. I think. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
super fun. Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
thank you,
Hopefully I
Gary.
can be on again soon. It's fun to talk about Smash, you know. So
Absolutely. Any final thoughts or words, Sean?
Yeah, thank you for having me on. I had a good time. I definitely would love to be back someday. And yeah, book me on Metafy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Book Sean and Metafy. Follow him on
How to get
Twitter.
what?
Follow Jezo. Do all
oh
that
yeah,
sort of
follow
stuff.
Jezo Show on Twitter, I guess maybe. Yeah, if you want.
Go over to Jezo's Metafy as well.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I think I need to set that up again.
Oh, you need to set it up again.
I might have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Go to Sean's.
Yeah, go to
now.
Sean's. Ignore
I think
Jez.
I go to Sean's for now.
We'll update you when Jez comes back.
Yeah, for sure.
If he comes back. But no, thank you very much for listening, and thank you everybody to my panelists for coming. It's super appreciated as usual, and yeah, it's just really fun. 3 episodes in now. It's felt really, really good. It's felt natural. So yeah, thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you enjoy your days.
All right, see ya.
Bye.